speak to fathers who are not living with their children, have little contact with them, or seldom provide them with money. The research sought to contribute to a broader understanding of the impact of absentee fathers. Psychologists, they say most children who are sexually aggressive against other children come from homes in which there was paternal absence. And often these children blame themselves for the absence of their father, often leading to a lack of self-esteem or even low self-esteem. So, how important is the role of active fathering as opposed to being an emotionally passive ATM father? Well, to answer this question, he's the founder and the CEO of Cool Dads Foundation, Bongani Luvalo. Very good morning to you, Bongani. I'm very happy to be talking to you today.
Good morning indeed. It is a good morning, and I'm quite glad for the invitation.
We live in the time of blessings and ATM fathers. What is an ATM father?
Basically, an ATM father would be a dad or a father in this case who does not avail himself physically and emotionally, but allows the wallet or the bank card to actually do the fathering responsibilities towards their children. And I think society has, embraced or has actually given space for such. A man is defined by what they're able to provide. Yeah. And continuously as fathers grow or men grow, it is passed from one generation to another where you are taught that your responsibility in your household or in your family is to provide financially. If you can't provide financially, you're not man enough, and that means you're not a father to your kids. So it has become a norm where we see fathers actually wanting to spend more time in making the money than actually being there physically and emotionally to connect with their kids.
This leads to a lot of social ills that we see play out in our townships, on our streets, in our cities, in our towns. These ills are well documented: drug abuse, gangsterism, all these kinds of things. How do we change this?
First and foremost, society has got to acknowledge that men or fathers have got a bigger responsibility than just to provide financial means. One, we've got to stop this tendency of saying that a boy or a man doesn't cry, because of once you remove that ability of one expressing themselves emotionally, then they won't be able to avail themselves emotionally, because of they are always going to detach themselves. If they are hurting, they can't express it. If they are happy, they can't express it. They find alternative ways of having to express that. That's why men would be found in most cases in shebeens, in pubs, in soccer matches and so on, because of that's where they can allow their feelings to actually let them out. So we've got to let a boy child to actually voice out when they're hurt, when they're in pain, when they don't like anything. And also we've got to take time and listen to a father. When you say you don't want this and you don't want that for your child, or actually how you're being treated in the house, in most cases you are told to take a back seat and allow women to actually be in the forefront. So society has got to acknowledge that a basic responsibility of a man is not just financial provision, but they are human beings who've got emotions, who've got, to be given affection, So once we then move away from that of thinking that men can't express their emotions, then we're going to build a better society.
Tell me about Cool Dads. I like what you guys are dads with a passion for fatherhood, but tell me, what do you do with this foundation?
Okay, Cool Dads Foundation has got 5 programmatic areas. One, we've got interactions. Many guys don't know what to do with their kids. If they spend time with their kids, basically they'll just chill. But we are teaching them how to interact on different activities with their kids. We do picnics, we do date outs, anything that is going to foster relations between a father and a child. The second part is empowerment of a father, where we do seminars and workshops on different thematic issues. It could be a question of human trafficking, gadgets, and so on, financial liberation, having to plan well in time for your kids. That's what we do with the empowerment program. Thirdly, we've got what we call a Big Brother mentorship, which we just launched about 3 weeks ago, where we're taking 70 boys that we have identified from the Far East, which is Ekurhuleni, where we are going to mentor them on a 3-year program. That's where the question of having to allow a boy child to express themselves. Many of them, when we spoke to them, they say they don't have that room where they can actually express themselves and give an understanding of how they feel, how their households are set up, and how that affects them psychologically. So we are going to be mentoring those boys in the next 3 years on career pathing, on life skills, exposing them to different aspects of life, going to camps, going to movies, and so on. Some of us have only eaten pizza, in our first year. And what does that mean to a boy child, And the fourth program, which we have not really tapped into, is what we would call toy bank and clothing bank. We know the levels of unemployment in South Africa, and as we spoke earlier on about the man being a provider, as and when you can't provide for your family, it then becomes a disadvantage to you. So we want other fathers who've got enough to share with others to actually give that opportunity to. And the fifth one would be looking into advocacy and lobbying.
In conclusion, though, the scary statistic are the ones that came out of the UKZN research module that they've done and said almost two-thirds of black households in South Africa, the fathers are absent, and that number's not coming down. How are we going to win this? How are we going to win this fight?
I think first of all, we've got to bridge the gap. My biological father never played any role in my life, and having to bridge that gap between myself and him is going to be quite a tedious exercise. But we've got to start nurturing the boy child. How do we inculcate a culture of family values in the boy child today? So that tomorrow when they become men and they become adults, how do they interact with females? How do they build sound family households? So we've got to start bridging the gap with the boy child that is currently existing. Because we have got a better chance of actually teaching those systems and those values. Unlike having to try and teach you those systems and values right now, we've got years and years where we have seen how men behave in society. And it could be a little bit of another tedious exercise to actually remove you from that space. But I believe that we've got to invest a lot in a boy child so that we ensure that we've got better men tomorrow who are going to assist in building a good society.
Bongani, happy Father's Day this weekend. I hope that you guys have a wonderful weekend. You're doing fantastic work. This is what our country needs.
Thank you very much. And hopefully no mothers would be saying Happy Father's Day to other mothers who are actually playing a double role.
Yeah, no, that would be tough. Now, of course, that's the founder and the CEO of the Cool Dads Foundation. His name is Bongani Luvalo. Wonderful work that they do. Now, of course, it's time for us to take a quick look around the newspapers on the African continent, in the countries in and around here. We'll start in Lesotho. Of course, we're all around Lesotho. The Times there reports that the Southern African Development